Well, hey there guys, and welcome back. On this week's show, we're taking a look at the WeCreat Lumos portable laser engraver. Well, here on the show, I have showcased a couple of items from WeCreat. Initially, the WeCreat Vision, and then afterwards, the WeCreat Vision Pro, that 45-watt diode laser with the 2-watt infrared. But today, they've done it again. They have sent me out the latest laser engraver of their family, and that would be the WeCreat Lumos. Now, this is a portable laser engraver unit, and it has the 10-watt diode, but not only that, it has a 3-watt infrared, which, as far as I know, this is one of the, if not the most powerful infrared unit in its class. I haven't seen one that's been 3-watt before. They've all been 2, so I'm excited to play with this. So let's get over to the bench. I'm going to get this thing out of its box, and I'm going to show you what they sent me out. Well, I have just spent more time than I really want to talk about getting this thing out of the packaging and get the packaging disposed of. Guys, much like every single thing I have ever seen from WeCreat, they take a lot of care in their packaging design and make sure that everything is super well protected. Everything arrived with 0 damage, 0 marks, 0 dents. There was nothing wrong with a single piece that came out of the packaging because they paid so much attention to protecting their product. But you know what? Let's have a look at what they sent me out. Now, guys, it kind of starts off with this little thing right here, and this is a hood for portable engraving. You have to remember this is a portable laser engraver, and from what I understand, this hood will allow me to be able to engrave on surfaces that I would not normally be able to get inside the laser. It has a built-in fan in the back that plugs into the laser head in order to power it with a USB plug. As well, we have the main laser unit itself. Now, guys, this is a pretty slick unit, and from what I can see, it looks like this is the mirror type system of engraving. This is not an X and Y axis. This is a beam that is directed with mirrors, which gives it an amazing amount of speed. As well as the main head, we have the WeCreat body of the laser. This is for stationary engraving. If you are engraving something that is small enough to fit into the housing, then the main laser head fits in here, and it now becomes a stationary desktop engraver, which is spectacular. As well as that laser housing, we have several alignment tools and tightening tools that are custom to this machine. We have a base plate, which these tools thread into, but as well, we have this ribbed cutter plate, which is placed instead of the threaded plate for things like cutting. It gives that airspace underneath to be able to get ventilation and get a good, clean cut. Now, as well, they've sent me out, obviously, a power supply for this. We have a vent hose connection tube, which also was sent out, as well as power cords, USB cables, etc., to be able to run this unit. Guys, as well, another thing that was sent out was the rotary tool for this. And this is a seriously beefy rotary tool. It is much beefier than the one even that comes with the WeCreat Vision Pro. This is an amazing looking rotary, and I'm looking forward to using it. But as well, they also sent out this desktop fume extractor. Guys, I'm looking forward to putting this to the test to see what it is or how it is that it performs. As well, there is a hose that comes with that and the accessories required, including the power pack to be able to power this up. Now, as well as all of the main unit pieces, there's also small little toolkits, one that comes with the rotary for your adjustments and that sort of thing. Guys, this is an all-inclusive unit. There is nothing that you need after this. Now, this particular item is also available. The Lumos is available, I believe, with a slide extension table. That was not sent out. I'm not sure if that was an oversight or if it's out of stock, or maybe it doesn't come with this unit. I'm going to contact them and see what it is that is happening with that. But why don't we look at what it takes to assemble this unit and get it ready for some engraving? So let's head over to the bench and get that started. Well, let's start off with the desktop fume extractor. Guys, this is the unit, very compact, much smaller than their original fume extractor that I showcased here on the channel quite some time ago. But the first thing you're going to want to do with this is here on the back, this is the input to the filter. The filter unit, just give this a pull, is inside. So this is actually the filter. And what you want to do is it comes with a connection point for the hose. And that is this piece right here. Guys, it just slides in. It's a friction fit and that's it. And you're ready to go. So from here, all you want to do, it comes with this hose. It's a typical exhaust hose that the WeCreat systems come with. Folds up nice and compact, but as well expands quite a bit for your needs. And what we're going to do is we're going to attach this onto this flange that we've just installed, and using one of the supplied pipe clamps, we're going to tighten this on here. Now, the nice thing about these pipe clamps is you don't need any tools. They're toolless. It's kind of a key turn here to lock it in place. So we're going to get this done. We're going to power it up and see, well, what we think from there. Well, the setup of this unit is pretty simple. I know that there are some desktop extractors that work in conjunction with your engraver and turn on automatically, that sort of thing. This is a manual operation unit. So what we're going to do is we're going to plug this in, and when you plug it in, you're going to get an audible beep to let you know it has power. There it is. And it's very simple controls. One button control, 2-speed fan. The first speed, here we are, green. This is low speed. And even that has a fair bit of suction here coming off of this inlet hose. And if you press the control one more time, it'll go blue. This is your high speed fan, and that does have quite a bit of suction. You can possibly hear that sucking against the back of my hand. One more press will shut the unit down. This hole that we've placed the flange on the back, this is the air intake. The air exhaust, flip this over, is actually on the bottom. This is our air exhaust port right here, and it pulls it through the filter and then out through the bottom and blows your clean air out through this port. So how does it work? Well, I don't know, but we are going to test that and find out. And that is all of the setup that there is for the actual fume extractor. We are ready to go on this. The only thing we need to do is attach this end to our laser using the other supplied clamp, but we cannot do that because we have not installed our hose flange yet. So why don't we do that next? Well, this is the back of our main housing for our WeCreat Lumos. And we can see several things here. Number one, there's a USB port for the connection to your computer. We have our power port right here, that our power supply, this little guy right over here, that is going to get connected in there. We have our rotary connection for that beefy rotary that I showed you. This is where it's going to get the information for the rotary as well as the power. This auxiliary port, I'm assuming that this is for the slide extension table. Up here at the top, we have our autofocus and our manual focus dial, but right here at the back, this is the section that we want to talk about right now with our port for our hose for our exhaust. Guys, the screws are already in the housing. They provide the Phillips screwdriver for you in order to install this. And honestly, it couldn't be easier. You just want to take your flange, place it up against the body of our Lumos, and screw it in place. That's all there is to it. Now there is on the back of this a foam gasket to get a nice seal there. But again, you've heard me say this on the show before. You have to remember that this flange is plastic. The screws are metal. When it comes to a battle between plastic and metal, metal will win every time. So you just want to install the screws just enough to slightly compress that foam gasket to get a nice seal there around the entire gasket for your exhaust hose. And that is it. Now guys, it does have this pipe clamp that comes attached to it, but this one here, depending on your setup, this one here is one that requires the Phillips screwdriver that they gave you with the set. For me personally, I prefer the key type. I don't like to have to mess around with tools. So I will probably be utilizing this particular clamp to connect to my fume extractor. But if you want to use this style here, it comes with it. You have the option. You can do as you please. So on this actual unit here, this is now pretty much set up. The only thing that we need to do here, other than what we've already done, is we have our unit, our main laser unit, placed into the top here. But there is nothing holding it in place. Right here on the unit, we can see a large threaded hole along with 2 pins, and this is the electrical connections here. They're kind of like quick contact points. So when you slide this down inside, you can line up those pins and that will allow it to drop in place. And then right at the back of the unit, there is a large kind of thumb screw knob that you can tighten by hand to get this to lock into place. And once you're happy with that and it's held in place there, it does come with this tool here to finish it off. So you can just place this in the center of that knob. It's kind of like a large Allen key, and just give it one little tweak there to finish that off, and then you're good to go. And that is essentially, other than cord connection, all the setup that we need to do for this main unit itself. So I'm not sure where to go from this point. Although WeCreat did send me quite a bit of information about this particular laser, I looked at none of it. And the reason for that is not because I was lazy, not because I didn't feel like doing it. It's because every single laser, no matter what the manufacturer, no matter what the model, no matter whether it's diode, CO2, whether it's infrared, it makes no difference. They all have a learning curve. And I think my initial response on this unit, I wanted to go in completely blind and hopefully see what the learning curve is like. And while I do have quite a bit of extensive experience with diode lasers, I have zero experience with this one. So I wanted to go in blind. I didn't want that extra information. I didn't want to research it. Other than what was available for the product to purchase from their website, I know nothing about the operation of this, and that's what I want. I want that initial first response, that excitement of me using a machine for the first time and either scratching my head and saying, what the heck is going on here? Or, holy crow, this thing's learning curve is smooth. I know that with the WeCreat Vision, both the regular and the WeCreat Vision Pro, the learning curve was almost flat. And while settings, that's a different story. Your settings to get the results that you want. The actual operation of those two units in the Vision family was so user-friendly. I said it before, I'll say it again. Some of the most user-friendly laser engravers I have ever had the pleasure of using. And I'm hoping that this is going to be the same. So what I'm going to do is, I don't want to do any testing out here in the shop. I actually want to take this inside the house. And the reason for that is I want to put that fume extractor to the test. If you remember when we first tested the initial WeCreate fume extractor, there was still odor from the engraving, and we had to differentiate between fume and odor. Two different animals, guys, two different completely animals. And we touched on that on the previous show. But I want to test this new desktop fume extractor. I want to see how it functions. I want to see how this engraves. I'm kind of excited to use it. I'm kind of excited to get into it and use that rotary tool. But that is something that we're going to do in the house. So why don't we head in there and see how we make out with this? Well, to save some time, I have opened up the WeCreate Make It. And guys, you want to make sure that you have the most updated version of this software. So I've actually had to update mine. So we're going to reach in behind the Lumos and turn it on. And while we're waiting for that to do its thing, we have it plugged into both power, obviously, and via USB into the side of the computer. So the first thing we're going to do here on the Make It software is right here under the Device tab, top right corner. We're going to click the drop down, and we can see here, it'll show you any devices that are here, and WeCreate on USB, and you can see right here it says Lumos. So we're going to connect on that, and there we go. Now we're connecting. There's some update details. So we need to do a firmware upgrade. So that's okay. I'm going to do that right now, and then I'll come back to you once that is finished. All right, so with that done, one thing I'd like to point out is that if you want to connect this via wireless, via Wi-Fi, you can do that. This does have Wi-Fi capabilities, and you just need to go into the settings, and you can go right here. Right now it's on USB. You can go under Wi-Fi settings, and you can pick your Wi-Fi network, and of course enter your password. And there you go. So now we are set up under Wi-Fi, and we don't need to plug it in if we don't want to. So we're going to do our first project. So we're going to import something simple. I just want to do the logo of the show. So I've just dragged this in, and it's a little on the large side. So we're going to bring it down just a little bit. And I have a scrap of plywood in here. I don't know if it's going to fit or not, but we're going to have a look. So I have clicked refresh right over here on the screen, and you can see that we get a live image of what we have. Just like the Vision series, we have the camera inside this unit to show us exactly what we're looking at, and we can position it how we wish. So I'm just going to click on the autofocus and see how we make out here. And it seems to be pretty happy with that focal length there. If we want to, we can use the knob on the back and do it manually, but that's not necessary in this case. I have this for a line engraving, power at 100%. That's kind of heavy. I'm going to drop that down to say 70%. Let's just see how this looks. I'm just going to try it and see what happens. So we'll click start. And I also want to test here our fume extractor. So I'm going to turn this on as well. And then once we get that done, we need to press this top button right up here on the laser. So let me just get the fume extractor started up. I'm just going to use it on low. And let's see what happens. If for some reason blasted a laser line up, but the rest of the engraving looks pretty good. Silent operation of the actual laser itself, and I don't smell any smoke. So I want to try this again. I'm not sure what's going on. Let me try this on a metal business card and see how that works. So I have clicked refresh with the business card in to freshen up this image so that we can see exactly what's going on here. We're going to enlarge this a little and get it straightened out on our business card. And once we're happy with that, we're going to click on the red light because this will be the infrared laser. I'm not sure of the speeds and that sort of thing. So let's just try it and see what happens. So we're going to come up here to start. And then once it's ready, we will send it. Looks like we're a little off center, but I'm okay with that. It's just a test. We're going to send it. And I'm going to turn on the extractor and hit the start button again, and we'll just see how we make out. Well, that's pretty impressive. That looks great. Very clean lines, clean engraving. I like that. All right. So that's the infrared. I don't know what happened here with this line that ran up the middle there. So I want to try that again and just see what happens. Let's see if we can't get a cleaner engraving here on the logo. Just one last try here. Okay. And there we go. That looks pretty good. So we've got the metal business card, and as well we have the engraving on the wood. And again, the fume extractor, there is zero odor, so it's functioning as it should. And there you have it, the WeCreat Lumos portable laser engraver. Guys, this was kind of a frustrating experience producing this show. And it's not because I got frustration or problems with the Lumos engraver. What it is I normally don't go into a show unless I know what I'm talking about. I go in with the knowledge already of the product, or I've already done my research or my homework, or I'm already knowledgeable about the subject I'm speaking or teaching about. And that is where my comfort zone lies. But with this one, I purposely went in blind to kind of test the learning curve on it. And the frustration part was in the editing, because there was a lot of times where I just didn't know what to say because I didn't know what I was talking about. But I have to say that the initial thoughts on the Lumos are spectacular. What it proves, in essence, is that with me going in blind like this and just kind of fumbling my way through it to get it set up and hooked up and connected and tested, I will say I didn't even look at the manual for this. I probably should have. But what it does prove is that, yet again, the WeCreat family of lasers, regardless of which model you're looking at or which model you're choosing, they still, in my opinion, remain to be the most user-friendly laser engraver on the market. And the Lumos portable engraver, it seems to be right along those lines. It's no different. So what are some of the things that I learned on the production of today's show? For starters, I learned that this thing had Wi-Fi. I had no idea. With the lack of any kind of external antenna, I just kind of assumed that it was hardwire connection only, but that is not the case. The Wi-Fi is there and it works really, really well. You want to make sure, because another thing that I learned is that if you don't have your WeCreate Make It software up to date, it is possible that it cannot function correctly with new products. And that was something I ran into during the production of today's show. I had an older version of Make It. I kept saying to skip this update, skip this update. I'm kind of one of those guys that likes to let the companies get the bugs out before I update something. And I'm usually updating just in time for a new update. But either way, so you want to make sure that your software is the most current version and that you've updated it to make sure that your connection is flawless. The other thing I learned that I did not know is I had no idea this thing had a live view camera. As I said, I did look online to see what came with the different packages of the Lumos, being whether it came with the rotary or the slide extension or the desktop fume extractor, that sort of thing. But as far as the function of it and what it came with or how it worked, I researched none of that. So I was actually very pleasantly surprised to see that camera, and that camera works really well also. It is in such close proximity to your work that that view is perfect. There is very little, if any, deviation from what you're actually seeing on the engraving plate to what it is that you're seeing on your screen because you're in such close proximity. So the accuracy of that is unreal. So there's a few things that I had no idea existed. Now, I don't think that we have done justice to this laser today because we did one very quick actually two very quick wood engravings and a very short test of the fume extractor. And as well, we tested the infrared laser very briefly, doing the exact same design on a metal business card. And that to me is not a test of the laser. We have really shown nothing here. I never got a chance to test that hood for portable laser engraving or the fan that's built into that. I never got a chance to test the rotary. I never got a chance to test setting stuff up and maybe doing some production burning. So what I want to do is we're going to continue this on next week's show. We're going to bring you another show with the Lumos, and we're going to put it through a few of the paces and have a bit of fun with this. And I'm thinking we may even do ourselves a little bit of some back to school projects that you can engrave with this laser, because I think that might be fun. And seeing that we're here in August, you know what, guys, September and the school year is not that far away. So either way, I hope you're going to join me for that on next week's show. Guys, I want to thank you so much for tuning in this week. I hope you've enjoyed this. It's kind of just like an overview of the product more so than a tutorial or a demonstration. So I hope you've found a little bit of this useful. I want to thank WeCreate for sending the equipment out to me. It's a great little machine. I like this one. This one's a lot of fun. And you know what? I kind of like that purple color. I wasn't sure about it at first, but it's kind of grown on me. Guys, if you haven't already, if you found any part of today's show interesting, fun, informative, what have you, you know what? Why not like and subscribe to the channel? We have an absolutely amazing audience base here, and I'm hoping that you're going to consider becoming a part of that. Guys, I'm going to post a link to all the products on today's show down below in the video description. I hope you're going to check that out. If you're interested in a laser, I hope you're going to look at this one and see if it has what you need for your lasering needs. And more importantly, I hope you're going to join me again next week when I bring you yet another Alternative Tuesdays.